Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Andrew here, xenomorph.com. Thanks for tuning in. Today I can present you the War Machine Mark IV diecast by Hot Toys from their Avengers Infinity War line. An already well received figure within the community, and judging just by the looks and the overall presence, I'm really happy with it as well. Sometimes I call these like submarine releases because you don't know exactly where they are, when they will hit, where they will hit, but they will definitely hit you and they will hit you quite hard. I think that's what happened with this War Machine suit. Alright, unfortunately with mine this happened in the second run, so what you can see here is the second figure I got from Hong Kong directly. The first figure I will show you later on had some minor QC factory related issues, so there were some scratches on the chest silver area here and on the silver area below the shoulder pads. And at this point you have two options. Either option one, send it back via the replacement process of your local Hong Kong seller. He gets the whole figure, goes directly to Hot Toys and gets a replacement. And normally he has to get the full figure back and he cannot replace single parts. So yeah, that would be one option. It takes quite some time. And being impatient and trusting a bit my painting skills, I decided to repaint the silver parts, which went okay. Still not in perfect condition back, but I was okay with it. Over the next few days, I was already thinking about doing the video review. I came to some other observations. First, and this is a major thing already for you as well, when receiving then the figure, you have to be really careful with this corner and these two edges here. The thigh armor, when posing the legs, can easily scratch this corner, and this is exactly what happened. You will see it quite obvious on the damaged figure later on. And the third thing, which was then again more a Hot Toys flaw, I'm not sure if it's just on mine, but when you're lowering down the faceplate on the Don Cheadle head sculpt, it scratched the paint application on his nose, and that's an absolute no-go. I was not aware that you could not close the faceplate, because with the Robert Downey Jr. portraits usually no problem. But also on that, more details later on. So let's go through the usual process. First I will show you an overview, box art, then we have a movie authenticity section, comparison and conclusion. Alright, let's get this video review started. Alright, as you can read here, this is the MMS499, which means we have one figure left in the Magic 500, which will be the Iron Man Mark 7 re-release that you probably have saw on the San Diego Comic-Con footage. Quite cool. Then here, as you can see on the top right corner, it says Special Edition, which means you have the Outrider creature as an add-on for the base included. And I love this crimson red effect going on the Avengers through the arc reactor of War Machine. Or net, it fits perfectly into the Infinity War line. Alright, let's continue. Alright, and here we go. This is the Mark IV War Machine out of the box, and I would say let's cover quickly the accessories. Some of them are already mounted, like for example the hand cannon on the right arm, but let's cover first the rest. Alright, I would say let's go first for the armor and weapon equipment. So what you can see here are the missile pod covers. So this is basically the closed one. Nice paint application on this purple part and the red part there. Then you have the huge minigun, or a more futuristic minigun. There you basically have all points of articulation. You can rotate this one, you can rotate this, you can lift it up. So I think you will be pretty satisfied with the range of motion of this piece. I will show you this later on. Then two missile sets for the front missiles on top of the chest armor. Then we have the Don Cheadle head sculpt. This is now the perfect one from the second figure I got, so you see no damage at all. Nicely painted. This is the inside. I think this is the part that scratched somehow the nose. Let's see it later on the damaged figure. Also here the camouflage pattern is noticeable. I really like the application. No idea how they do this. It's so clean and perfect. some kind of a print procedure probably. Then you have different hand sculpts, repulsor hands. You have different versions of fisted hands, like for example here with the opened blaster area, and this one is with the closed area. Also nicely painted, really high quality plastic. And then of course you have the articulated hands. Then on the right side we have various equipment for the replacement parts for the hands, as you've saw before. So basically this is the closed version, this is the version where you see the gun extended, and for the lower arm, on the other side of the arm, you have also replacement parts. This with the extended version, and this the closed version. So quite some accessories in this set, but all is plastic, so you don't have any die-cast special parts in this set. It's everything plastic, and this is a bit lackluster. Somehow I would definitely like to have some more die-cast elements on the major equipments, like for example on this part here, because yeah, I mean it's nicely painted with the camouflage pattern, but this looks really like just plain black plastic. So then let's quickly cover the Outrider, creature and the base. So of course you only get one Outrider and one base, but what you get is an alternative look for the base, and this is just a plain paper-like cover that you put on the actual Avengers base, and then it looks like this. And of course I just wanted to use the opportunity to show you both combinations. I think it should be meant to use the Outrider together with the Earth base, but as you can see it works both ways. Then let's have a quick look at the Outrider itself. I love this third degree burn look to the creature. I don't have the Captain America one, which has a different paint job, but yeah, I mean it does the job. It's definitely no magnificent piece at all, but I mean as a little diorama add-on, why not? But I don't understand why they put out a special edition just because of this base. I mean, it will be totally okay to just include this with the normal version, because the value of this piece alone, I mean, what could it be? $20 US max. If you look at the paint applications and variations, there's almost no visible differences. The mouth looks nicely painted with some deep red. Yeah. But yeah, they do the job. It's cool to have two of these now, because I definitely prefer the berend look compared to the other one from the Captain America. But yeah, as you can see, it's just a slice of it. Would be cool to have like a full figure. I think it was on the Comic-Con last year, 2018, they presented an Outrider. Never have seen any news update on this one. Okay, let's continue. So next up is movie authenticity. First I want to highlight a bit the head sculpt, the likeness of Cheadle and the camouflage pattern in general. Since there is not much reference material of the actual suit, I really had to get back and use about 5 promo shots for a bit of comparison, because since the suit is CGI, you don't have a lot of, let's call it like hero poses of the suit. Also in the movie itself, most of the time you see War Machine, it's in action scenes. So from what I saw, but please correct me, I found absolutely no shot of the backside. So all the shots that you can see, be it like promo shots or for movie posters, it's always the front side, and most of the time you see it with Cheadle's portrait. So that's because I want to first cover the Cheadle portrait. As you can see, nicely painted, glossy eyes, really realistic skin toning, but then again it's encapsulated by the helmet, so it's another free floating portrait, something like that. And that's a bit unfortunate. It's like the 5th time they're doing this. Here on the right side you can see as comparison the Mark II from Avengers Age of Ultron. Paint quality is definitely better on the latest one, but it's the same sculpt, which is okay for a helmeted version of Cheadle's portrait. But it would be a great opportunity to give us like this full portrait of Cheadle. Luckily they teased us with this sculpt at the San Diego Comic-Con last week for the new Iron Patriot, so there is still hope, and I hope it will turn out great, and then I hope it can be fit onto the earlier versions of the War Machine suits. So then I would say let's bring in a comparison shot on the left side with Don Cheadle, which is from a movie promo shot, and there you can definitely see a first good comparison with the actual suit and how Hot Toys realized all the elements, especially below. So all the elements are correctly placed. You have, for example, as a special highlight, this riding Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes retired. Very nice detail as on the promo shot. Then you have these triangular shapes here and also at the bottom here on the left and the right. Then the number, Mark IV, the Air Force logo, everything is there. So this is pretty sweet. So then let's switch to the LED helmet version. Looks definitely nice. As you can see, it has some silver highlights around these edges. Nicely painted also with the camouflage pattern, and the red LED function works fine. It has the same problem with most of the suits, that the LED is not that strong, so in the first minute or two it works, but after that it dims down. But I'm definitely liking this effect. So in terms of the accuracy of the light up features, they unfortunately missed the point a bit with the chest arc reactor light up features. Everything is fine in the upper torso area, so these lights are all properly placed and work like a charm. They're also pretty bright if you ask me, but if you compare it to the movie promo shots and also some of the scenes in the movie, it's missing some lights here at the lower torso area and also the waist area. And I don't understand why, because with the latest Iron Man suits of Tony Stark, they gave us all the lights all over. For example, the Mark 46, the Civil War edition, it had lights everywhere like a Christmas tree. So that's a bit unfortunate. Then next up, let's talk about the camouflage pattern. Basically, I'm a big fan of it. It fits the tone of this Air Force unit in this military style, and it's perfectly applied by Hot Toys in even this mass production process. I have no clue how they're doing this to achieve this constant quality. I mean, it's on all the pieces all over. Look at the feet, for example, there. So it's like a gray base pattern, and then you have some blue highlights going on. So for example, there you can see, and the closer you go with the lighting, it gets more and more obvious. So when I put the lights in more distance, it fades away. If you get closer, it gets more and more obvious. And I think that's totally accurate to the movie. I found this promo picture from Endgame where Rhodes teams up with Nebula. It's an amazing shot. He's with a full portrait and likeness of Don Cheadle, but you can see and enjoy the suit in its full glory, because in the beginning he uses the Mark IV still, and there you can definitely obviously see the camouflage pattern, and also in all the other movie promo shots. I think it's perfectly executed and gives it a nice and unique touch. Then let's directly go for the backside of the figure. As you can see, huge highlight is this backpack kind of thing, which has all the weapon systems on the backside nicely put together. As I said, there's no actual movie scene showing the backside of War Machine in all its details, but what I found is a concept art of Phil Saunders within the book Art of the Avengers Infinity War, and this clearly shows the design of the backside of the actual character in all its details, and it's definitely the same design that they showed in the concept. So this backpack consists of these missile pods that you can lift up here, also on the left side. Then you have the minigun, which is placed with a kind of a rail, and there you have this notch, and this just slides in. So it reminds me a bit of the Mark II, I think, the Avengers Age of Ultron figure. It's kind of the same way, just on the side. And then you have these air flaps that you can lift up, and beneath this air flap you have the button, which is of course also coverable with this cover piece, which unfortunately is a bit of a hard job to get off. So in general, I like the design, and I think it's definitely movie accurate, if you can say it so, because you only have this concept piece to compare. So in general, I definitely like this new backpack kind of thing, also the L flap style, because they're really flexible. You can rotate them, put them up and downwards. But what I don't like is the execution of these tiny air flaps, or I don't know what these are. Basically, you have also this rail, and you just put it where you want. Put it a bit higher, put it a bit lower, but it doesn't do the job for me, and they will fall off quite quickly. So let's get back to the front. As you can see now, the missile pods are open and ready to fire. Well, almost. Now you have to remove these covers, and then you just use the open ones, just put it on, and then you have basically him ready for the battle at Wakanda. And here I will switch to the picture-in-picture mode, showing you some of the scenes where he basically fires all the missiles onto the Outriders, and you have this full fighting pose where he basically also lifts the arms, shooting here with the hand or arm system like this. So this is definitely a cool recreation possibility or option that you can use in having in a really battle mode. And then of course you can lift up these shoulder covers here, as you can see on the right side, and just put in this golden rocket pods like this. And it's also quite a good addition for the whole battle mode, and looks a bit different to the movie from what I can tell if you look at the comparison photo, but all in all it's definitely a great look. You cannot close these compartments as long as the golden pods are in. So then of course we have to deploy also the minigun, and it works like this. You have this separate arm. It's not storable into the backpack area, you just use it as a separate mounting piece. Put the minigun on top of it, and then it looks like this. I think that's the money shot, something like this, having him shoot into the front with the arm gun, and on the right shoulder the minigun. This looks really awesome if you ask me. The minigun itself, as I already pointed out, is basic black plastic, but the actual cover on top has also the camouflage pattern and a bit more. It fits perfectly into the backpack area. But overall, I'm definitely satisfied with this minigun design. Kinda unique. Yeah, in the base you can get all the weapon systems back into the backpack area. Here you see the two different cover plates with the missile pods, and this is again the minigun just without the arm, and it looks perfectly clean. The only thing that you would have now is to move up these separate air flaps. So it's basically like this. You pull them off, put them a bit higher, but yeah, these are quite flimsy pieces. And then let's quickly cover the arm guns. So these are not deployed, and here we have the deployed or extended arm guns on the top and on the lower arm. As you can see, it has a kind of a camouflage pattern going on, but other than that, all plastic. What I really like are these specially made hand scarves or gloves, also with a kind of a weapon system at the front. So then you want to recreate, of course, the Battle of Wakanda, where he basically was most of the time in the air, just hovering over the Outriders and giving them a hard bombardment. And this works totally fine with this dynamic flight stand by Hot Toys here from Iron Mark 50, but I would not trust it over a longer period of time. So just do it, take some photos and put it back into the museum post probably, because with these flight stands it's definitely not meant to do this. But overall, definitely an ace look. Here also from the back side, really nice. It would be cool if Hot Toys would invest a bit more research and development resources in providing us a bit more stable bases. For example, put some iron weights in it, make them larger so that they can probably fit these die-cast Iron Man or War Machine pieces in flight mode. Okay, let's go with the comparison. Here I want to give you some highlights on the first version that I got, which had some factory issues on the right side, and on the left side is the one that you saw before in the video review, the perfect in pristine condition War Machine. So the first thing I noticed, it's really subtle, I'm not sure if the camera can pick this up. There are some slight scratches here on this plate. I already repainted it slightly, it's not that visible anymore, I have to say. But it's just something that bothered me quite a bit. Then here's the bigger issue. If I lift this up, I'm not sure if the foam was in place during the transport here, but this die-cast thing just scratched the lower silver part, so it was really scratched off with some black paint shimmering through. I covered it now a bit with a silver paint, and these were the two issues out of the box. So then we have the issue with the faceplate scratching the nose of Don Cheadle. So I did not thought that this would be any problem placing the faceplate like this, closing the gap here with the lower jaw, and then give it a firm push. It looks almost identical to the normal LED helmet, but when you remove now the faceplate, you will see that there's a tiny black spot going on there on the center of the nose bridge. This looked even worse some days ago, somehow kind of self-healed, magic by Hot Toys. But if you compare this to the other sculpt from the second figure, I never put the faceplate here, it looks in perfect condition. And here again, the other sculpt, there you can see this tiny black spot. It's kind of a small scratch. And when I checked the inner workings of the faceplate, I saw that there's kind of a worn area here at the lower red section. So it might be a production error, and to play it safe, just put it on the top side of the helmet and leave it like there. And use the closed LED helmet for any closing options that you want to use. So the last thing I need to point out and really stress is the possible damage when articulating and moving the legs or thighs around the waist area. As you can see, obviously here I scratched this plastic flap here at this corner, because these thighs are die cast and the upper thing is plastic. Also happened on the other side, so it will be a common problem, I'm pretty sure. So please be aware, please be really careful when posing the legs. It's done and scratched so easily. And it's not something that will happen out of the box, so it's something that you will self-inflict and self-cause, and then you basically end up in the same situation as I am, and you might be thinking about replacing or get a second version of the Mark IV. Here on the right side, this is the one in perfect pristine condition. So let's have a quick look. As you can see here, nothing scratched, and I will be really careful when posing these legs here. Probably I will just keep them in this position. So, and here we go, comparison time. Lots of Iron Man War Machine suits. It's crazy. So on the left side, Mark I re-release, about 2 years old. Mark II Avengers Age of Ultron, the slender, slimmest version of the suits. Then we have the Civil War version on the back side, with the battle damage going on. It was one of my favorites, but I have to say the Mark IV definitely wins the race this time. It's just something with this camouflage look, the added red elements, that is definitely hooking me up. But overall, it's a happy life to be an Iron Man War Machine collector. And nobody would have believed when we received the first War Machine, which was actually my second figure in the collection, that this collection would grow so big, and especially at that quality rate. It's amazing to have these die-cast pieces, and I'm also a fan of them re-releasing all the suits in die-cast form. So next up, let's quickly cover the articulation possibilities, but here I will definitely use the stunt double on the right side. So let's start with the arms. As you can see, you can quite good hide the gaps between shoulders and torso. The arms have quite a good range of motion. You definitely have to also watch out for this connecting pieces to the chest armor, so because this is die cast, also quite heavy material, and this is plastic. Yeah, just watch out. You can of course remove the chest armor. This looks pretty cheap if you ask me, not the usual quality that you would get from Hot Toys, so just cover it again. In the end, I think for the arms articulation you have all the stuff that you require, lots of range of motion. Then let's go for the waist area. So here you can of course lift up and extend the waist. You have kind of a crunch going on like this, and on the back side as well. You can also turn the torso, a good range of motion. So to demonstrate you the leg range of motion, I use this action pose. It looks really dynamic without using a stand or anything. So this is how it works. You always lift up first these plastic covers, and even then be really careful when doing it like this, because the die cast on the thighs is so heavy and will easily scratch the plastic. And then you can use the nice band on the knees that you can see here. It's like a 90-degree angle, perfectly flexible. And another cool thing is on the feet, these have a good tilt, so it's almost 45 degrees like this, or a straight line like this, and this will help you give a lot of stabilization into your action poses, so that you don't have to use a stand. Okay, final pose in this video review on the latest War Machine Mark IV by Hot Toys. Have a look at this epic, massive action posing by War Machine. All the weapons deployed, missile pods. The other missile pods at the front, arc reactor lit up, eyes lit up, as you can see here. The minigun on the shoulder. This is for me the money shot angle. This looks so freaking cool. Also check out the pictures on my website. Did an extensive photo shoot with all the details covered. So overall, pretty happy with this release. Of course, I had this bothersome story with the first with the factory issues, and then with the issues that I self inflicted, especially here on the waist section. So please be really careful when posing this figure, but when you do it, probably it looks just massive. Okay, on the last note, just a quick word on the pricing. Of course, you pay right now high premium prices at the Hong Kong sellers. It goes for almost $800 shipped EMS, which is an outrageous price compared to the retail price of Sideshow, which is about $450. So almost double the price just by having it on a short notice, and that's really something that you have to think about it twice. And it's not a good pattern if you look into the future. I'm pretty sure we will pay about $1,000 for day one release of the Mark 85 or the Mark 85 battle damaged in a year's time. I can guarantee you that. So, and yeah, it's something we get used to it probably, but I'm curious to see when we will hit the mark, when some of us collectors will definitely stop acquiring these premium priced collectibles, or just get a bit more selective when hunting these collectibles. Alright, other than that, something for the hardcore Iron Man and War Machine collectors for sure. Everybody else, think about it twice. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon on the tube, and bye bye.